First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. I'm Neha Bhuchar. I am the co-founder and CEO at Atom11. Atom11 automates ads and analytics for Amazon sellers and brands. And why are we here today? So, Amazon just wrapped up this season's largest sale event, which is the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. And I hope that this sale was a blockbuster sale event for you and you all did fantastic in the last few days. But that's what brings us here today. A lot of times, what we see is that when a Black Friday Cyber Monday sale comes in, you spend 4x of your ad spend to start getting about 5x of your sales during those days. But as soon as the sale event ends, that's when you start seeing a slump in your ads. And then you take about the next 2-ish months to start clawing your way back into your regular baseline sales. Now, that is not a very good use of Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale or any sale event for that matter. The best way of using Black Friday, Cyber Monday or any kind of sale event is to use that spike to actually start seeing a baseline jump in your sales. So for example, if you were earlier doing X of sales, and you get a 5x jump during Black Friday sale, then after the sale event ends and you start seeing a small slump, but you quickly claw back and then you actually start increasing your revenue from X to, let's say, a 2x or, from 1.5 to 2x in the next 2 to 3 months. Now, this is a baseline, increase that happens over time, and you really need strategies to get to that. One of our brands who's done this beautifully is Jool baby product. And when we were discussing this and we found this out, we wanted to partner with Flynn from Jool baby product to come and actually share his strategies with us. So without further ado, I wanted to very quickly introduce our presenter today. He's Flynn. He's the director of digital marketing at Jool baby products. And you know what? Before I even get into his credentials, if I were to tell you one thing about Ari, is that he is this perfect amalgamation of strategy and execution. And if you were to ever meet Ari, if you ever have a chance to meet Ari, he's so approachable, by the way. I think the one thing that you will notice is how is the depth of his knowledge that, in the Amazon space, and how he uses that depth to really bring around use cases, in the space that you might not even have thought about. So I think it's always worth having a chat with Ari, and we love, his brainstorming sessions. And now on to his credentials. Ari is right now, like I said, the director of digital marketing at Jool products. He has 15 years of experience in high ROI programs like e-commerce, performance media, SEO, CRO, so on and so forth. He has worked with large corporations, bringing in data-first approach for growth and scalability. And I think true to his core, he is really a cross-functional leader who is able to actually marry, digital strategies and then actually build, playbooks from there for scalability. So that's Ari for you. And Ari, welcome. And we're so excited to hear from you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and give it away to you. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Neha. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. And thank you to Neha and the Atom11 team for having me. I'm going to just share my screen and make sure that is good. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes, Ari, we're able to see.
Okay, amazing. Okay, great. So again, my name is Ari Flynn from Jool Baby, and Neha invited me, here because over the past few years, like she was getting at, we've been able to show consistent year-over-year growth, strong efficiencies, and something marketers rarely talk about, continuous baseline lift after major events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. A quick intro on who I am. I'm the director of digital marketing at Jool Baby. We're a baby products brand based out of New Jersey, founded about a decade ago. And we design and manufacture quality family essentials from potty training products to baby gear, as well as diapering and child safety products. We operate omni-channel across US and several global markets. I've been with Jool Baby for about 5 years now, and I've been involved with e-com and digital marketing for over 15 years now, including the last 5 years specifically focused almost entirely on Amazon and Amazon ads. And look, I'm just like many of you. I'm not a polished Amazon conference speaker yet. I'm a hands-on operator who spends way too much time inside ad managers, dashboards, and spreadsheets. I learned from what actually works and what very clearly does not. My hope is that everyone here leaves today with at least one actionable takeaway they can implement immediately after this webinar. And yes, before anyone asks in the Q&A, it's true, I am single. Noting the Q&A, we're going to actually have a Q&A session at the end, so if you're more than welcome. But keep the questions coming, and we'll try to address everyone's questions at the end. In the meantime, let's do a pulse check, and if you don't mind, can you please enter where you're based out of and share that in the webinar chat? Just make sure everybody can hear okay. I see people from all over have joined. Amazing. Okay, so it looks like everything's up and working. Amazing. And in case anybody's wondering, yes, the recording of the webinar as well as the deck will be available after the webinar. Just reach out to Neha and the Atom11 team, and they'll take good care of you. Now, before we begin, I do have a quick disclaimer. I'd love to take all the credit for our continuous baseline lift and year-over-year growth. But I work with an incredible team, and from A to Z, including product design, creatives, operations, logistics, catalog, and more, performance is always the sum of the organization. Before jumping into actual hacks and tactics, we need to understand the psychology of the shopper after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, as well as other major events. There is a significant emotional shift. The urgency is gone, deal hunters disappear, CPC stays temporarily elevated, and buyers move from buy now mode to browse and compare. The goal isn't to avoid a dip. That's impossible. The goal is to compress the dip, protect efficiencies, defend market share, and set up a strong Q1. Use BFCM as a data goldmine to identify new hero ASINs, winning keywords, and audiences you should scale into Q1. Build cross-sell strategies off what performed, and always measure success against your baseline or last year, not Black Friday, Cyber Monday peak day. Our first hack that we're going to cover today is the segmentation of buyers versus browsers. After Black Friday and Cyber Monday, buyers become low intent. We target them aggressively. Browsers, people who viewed PDPs, visited the store, or added to cart, remain high intent. Treat these groups very differently. Moving along. Today, we're going to focus on a framework of 4 core pillars to manage our post-Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. They consist of points on ads, actual creatives, the review pipeline, as well as pricing. So let's jump right into it. Let's start discussing ads. We're going to cover 4 different points in this section: goal setting, structural changes, retargeting, and upper funnel ads. Goal setting. Substantial growth, you have to set clear goals for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. Align objectives to drive stability and maintain focus during peak periods. Now, there's something to take into consideration. There's the concept of stability versus ROAS. A good goal is stability, not peak ROAS. You won't be able to sustain the ROAS that you had, that we were able to achieve during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's unattainable to expect that ROAS to continue. Optimize using data, not panic, is a good rule of thumb. And we're going to focus on key metrics, and I'm going to share that with you in the hack in just a minute. But the main thing to remember is don't just look at ACoS. Very often, we are focused in the campaign manager solely on ACoS. And there are many other metrics that we need to be looking at. We should also reprioritize your profit drivers, as well as focus on giftable or evergreen SKUs. So let's talk more about each of these points a little bit more, which brings us to hack number 2. Don't chase the ROAS levels, as I was mentioning earlier, that we achieved during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Performance naturally dips because the urgency is gone. Set expectations in advance. The goal is stability, not peak ROAS. And again, this avoids panicked over optimization, which we're going to discuss in a little bit. Hack number 3 is track these important metrics. As was mentioned before, don't just look at ACoS. We're going to want to look at TACoS, which is the overall ad spend versus total sales, which is a different metric. Oftentimes, we have a scenario where our ACoS could be high relatively, but our TACoS could still be very manageable or even good TACoS. So don't just base all your changes in optimization solely on ACoS. Some other important metrics: conversion rate, click-through rate, new to brand percent ratio, share of voice, placement mix, organic to paid sales ratio is a key one as well. If you're pumping in ads and your ratio, if you're a 50-50 ratio, let's just say, for argument's sake, and all of a sudden, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and you're still chasing those sales, you could very easily lead into where 60, 70, 80+% of your sales are coming in paid, which is not good because that would result in tacos being really not good and your margins would be gone. Okay. One other important metric is your bestseller rate. Okay. So you may want to pull back, but if you see your ranking slipping, you may want to push the lever a little bit more aggressively, not to lose ranking. But do realize at the same time that your competitors are faced with the same challenges. Again, optimize using data, not panic. Which brings us to hack number 4. Reprioritize your profit drivers list. You're going to want to identify the top 10 SKUs, and you're going to base this on data from your Black Friday, Cyber Monday event, top sellers, as well as overall historical Q4 performance, as well as price stability. Make these the core of your bid and budget prioritization for the next 20 days and into Q1. And we'll actually talk a little bit more about that coming up. And in our next hack, as I mentioned, we should focus and elevate on giftable or evergreen SKUs. During the post-Black Friday, Cyber Monday period, shoppers will be focused on buying replenishment products, as well as practical items and late gifts. So make those hyper visible. Now moving on to the next section of our ads module, we're going to be discussing structural changes. What many of us should be doing, if not all of us, we should be running an audit on our campaigns, all our accounts, all our campaigns, and we could pull the last, I would say, 14 days or so, and we could quickly bucket campaigns and SKUs into clear winners, which we're going to want to scale, borderline, which we could probably optimize and get them more efficient during this time. And then the third category would be complete losers, which we should probably cut or park or definitely dial back. Actionable moves will include keep budgets open on winners, even if CPCs are a bit higher. We're going to want to aggressively trim through losers, reduce bids, lower budgets, pause non-essential keywords or ACIDs to stop wasteful and inefficient spend. We'll move experimental or broad campaigns into learning budgets so they don't cannibalize proven ones. Don't necessarily cut bids across the board. Cut where conversion truly collapsed and keep your winners funded. Now, regarding sponsored ads, structure and optimization discipline, it's very important. Remember, do not make big structural changes post Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or any large event because Amazon's algorithm is actually in recovery mode. So any big jolt to the system won't work out well in the end. So you're going to want to make small changes, moderate changes, and very focused changes. Again, small, steady changes to your ads to keep things stable, avoid problems, and get reliable results after the event. Make smaller adjustments, I would say 5 to 10% to avoid algorithm volatility and help stabilize growth. Keep your always on campaigns running for audience preservation. So you may dial back on some campaigns, but you should have campaigns in the mix that are lower bid and always on. Tighten targeting around proven demand. And when you're running this audit, use search term reports. They're there for a reason. Promote high converting queries into exact match with slightly higher bids. Those have proven to convert, so put money behind those. Lower bids or negate search terms that drove clicks, but no sales during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Now is not the time necessarily to experiment or to have any wasteful spend. So we could sum it up by saying shift towards hero ASINs. You're going to want to defend your turf, as well as category keywords where you still see solid conversion. One other point is to avoid turning off all top of funnel campaigns or ads. Keep a small but steady top of funnel budget so you are not building demand from zero in January. This is very important. We often see with sponsored brands or top of funnel campaigns do not convert as well. So in this scenario, many of us will automatically or immediately think to, let's just turn off that campaign or let's just cut those campaigns entirely. We don't want to do that. We do want to minimize budget, lower bids, etc. But we do want to keep them on and stay in the game so we're still in being read by the Amazon algorithm. So come January, we're not trying to restart dormant campaigns. And as I mentioned earlier, make 1 or 2 meaningful changes per optimization cycle, then wait for data Over editing in a volatile period creates fake volatility on top of real volatility. There's some other key tools and strategies that you could add right now. If you haven't, I would strongly recommend adding Audience Bid Booster. This is a recent release from Amazon.
Pause for one second. I think even if you're changing, I think it's not changing over here. So do you want to refresh once and then change slides?
So not a problem. Okay, hold on one second. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm actually about to go to the next slide. Okay, thank you for catching that. Yeah, thank you very much. So really quick, the Audience Bid Booster is a new Amazon release, and what it does is actually put your ads for a bid adjustment slightly higher, but will put your ads in front of audiences that will actually are what Amazon understands to be prospects that are more likely to convert. So that's something that if you haven't already, I would strongly recommend implementing in your campaign, as well as budget rules. If you have a campaign that is performing efficiently, there's no reason for that campaign to run out of budget at 2:00 in the afternoon or 4:00 or 5:00. So make sure campaigns that are running efficiently continue and stay in budget. Focus on well-performing campaigns, keywords, targets, and ASINs. And last tip is grab a complete snapshot of your account before the event. I know now is a little bit too late, but remember this for next time, because if all things go south, you always have a recall button. You can always go back to what was working. So if October was doing really well for you, or beginning of November, and all of a sudden you went into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all of a sudden you started changing things around, and now you don't even know what to do, what's up, what's down, you have a starting point. And on this note, I should say, as a user of Atom11, they actually have an amazing feature called version control, which helps you take a snapshot of your account at any period, and you could save that snapshot with a name. So we have it in all our accounts pre-BFCM 2025, and we freeze it. And just in case any of our accounts go off the tracks, we could always revert back as a safety net. You can also use bulk sheets as well, but that's a great feature that Atom11 has. Moving right along, based on what we just discussed on that last long slide, we do have a few hacks that I would like to summarize. Most importantly is, like we mentioned briefly before, is make slight adjustments. Don't make big shifts. So I would recommend budget changes or bid changes of 5 to 10%, not 20 to 40%. You want to protect the algorithm that it's reading your account and it's learning and putting you forward. Avoid major swings during the unstable post-event period. The next hack is maintaining your pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday foundation. Don't restructure your account or your campaigns for 2-3 weeks post-event. Amazon needs stability to normalize post-spike signals. A big mistake that brands could potentially make, is just blindly resetting. It's not A or B. You have to read, like we were talking earlier, about the metrics. So it's not just reverting back. That is a safety that you get back to point A, but it's not just, okay, I saved my bulk sheet from a week before Black Friday, I'm just going to revert to that. I would not just do that, because there's so much data that you could learn from over Black Friday and Cyber Monday that you could actually implement for this holiday period as well as into Q1. So it would be a waste to lose all that data. And then our next hack would be, like we mentioned, follow the 3-day rule. Don't just make changes throughout the day, every day. Don't react to just one bad day. You have to wait a couple days, 2-3 days, and then review the data before making further changes. The next section regarding ads is retargeting. Retarget your audience at the right time. This helps you drive conversions from people who already showed interest and are ready to buy. You have to manage your audiences and understand how the retargeting framework works. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, traffic, like we mentioned earlier, gets split into 2 segments over the next 20 days. There's the buyers and there's the browsers. The buyers usually have low purchase intent immediately after. So if you're starting to pump retargeting, display ads, anything like that to buyers, most likely they won't convert, and that's not where you should be putting your advertising dollars. Instead, focus on the browsers, which are still high intent, They definitely do need a cooling down period immediately after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That's why we're with you today. But coming up in the next couple of days, we're going to be ready to push forward and capture those browsers from Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and retarget them. So we're going to want to delay retargeting slightly so it's more cost efficient. Intent recovers slowly. So for browsers, I would recommend waiting 4 to 7 days before retargeting them, and then certainly wait longer for buyers. Turn Black Friday, Cyber Monday traffic into cheap wins. So we'll retarget warm shoppers with sponsored display views, remarketing, people who viewed your PDPs, your product pages during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but didn't buy are still cheap compared to cold traffic if you keep bids controlled. The simple framework, again, is optimal window 7 to 20 days after the event. You want to target product viewers, cart abandoners, and if you're able to, as much as possible, exclude recent purchasers. So to summarize a little bit, hack number 9 is going to be activate delayed retargeting. Traffic that Black Friday through Cyber Monday often shops 4 to 10 days after the event. Retargeting too early is going to waste them. And then wait until the bounce back period is coming, which is coming in a few days, and then push forward with the retargeting. Our next hack is using low lift retargeting, which is your bucket of user remarketing, which we just discussed, as well as category targeting for competitors, complementary items. If someone's in your aisle, and I'll just use a personal example for my situation, if someone bought a baby stroller or a car seat, which we don't sell, but I do know that customer has a baby. So most likely they may need a changing pad. They might be ready for to start potty training. So that leads us to other products within our catalog. And I have an audience that what we could refer to as in aisle, meaning they're in market. They are our target audience. So we would want to tap into that as much as possible. Now, brand defense sponsored brand campaigns will also help because remember, we were pushing ads very strongly during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So it could very well be customers will use your brand name to try to find that product that they viewed during that period. So we do want to have the brand defense up and running and making sure we're focused product targeting on your top sellers and Black Friday, Cyber Monday heroes, like we mentioned, putting those in a bucket. These let you recapture the traffic that we just invested in over the event. And then leveraging Amazon Marketing Cloud audiences, like audiences who saw your ads during Black Friday Day and pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but did not purchase, will help you focus and convert better during this period. Now, Neha, did you want to add anything regarding AMC or DSP or Atom11 regarding that?
Yeah, no, I think that you put it very beautifully when you said that, just when you're differentiating between buyers and the browsers and then just kind of leaving out the buyers already and only focusing on the browsers. So I think what you basically are focusing on an AMC audience is someone who has seen your detail page but not purchase, an audience which is very easily available through, pre-built audiences on Atom11, for example, or audiences who, added to cart or did not purchase, or, slightly more complicated audiences, like, for example, customers who have searched for a specific keyword but did not purchase, right? So just kind of removing the purchasers and then looking at mid-funnel or lower funnel audiences and targeting them through Amazon Marketing Cloud is something that you can do. And I think a very similar phenomena would be for DSP ads, right? If you guys are running those to retarget. And I think I really like the part where you said that, kind of leave out the last 4 to 7 days because they are going to come back after that time and then start your retargeting. But I think you've already kind of covered that. So in terms of Amazon Marketing Cloud.
I know Atom11 has a whole suite of tools. Okay, and the last section with the ads module, within the ads module is going to be your upper funnel ads. We're going to want to avoid turning off all your top of funnel ads, like we mentioned before, because we don't want to start from scratch in January. So again, don't shut off these campaigns entirely. Dial back for sure, but do keep them active. There should be always on low bid campaigns that are keeping traffic and impressions going throughout, even during this cooling off period. Moving to our next section, we're going to discuss some creatives and things we can do to help improve conversions, as well as give us a stepping stone to Q1. Some of those are regarding our creatives and our listing, a listing refresh. Most importantly is our messaging, everything that we're doing on social, email, newsletters, throughout our entire marketing messaging. We have to change our messaging from urgency to trust. This is a very big shift because during the event, we are just scooting out, whether we're posting on Insta, TikTok, whatever it is that we're bringing customers to our brand on Amazon DTC site. The messaging is constantly 1 day only, 3 more days, like get this deal, 30% off while supplies last. It's buy now, which it directly correlates with the customer's behavior at the time. Now that behavior is changing, we need to shift gears as well with our marketing and specifically our message. So during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, people, as we discussed, rush to buy because of deals. But after it ends, they slow down and choose trust. It's important to shift creative tone. If you're able to, refresh creatives to reflect post-hype behavior. Remove the tone of urgency and replace with trust, value, as well as seasonally appropriate messaging. Tis the season. Where available and when you're able to, and I'm sure everyone is limited on resources, but when you're able to, update PDPs, the product pages, the listings for holiday and shopping in mind. People start thinking about the holidays and the new year. So your creative angle should match the intent therein. Optimize PDPs based on what Black Friday, Cyber Monday's traffic struggled with. Review friction points, use search terms, data to learn customer behavior. So just a quick example, if you see a review comes in, I thought this was a 4-pack and I only got a 2-pack. Just an example off the top of my head. Look at your PDP. Did the customer see something that led them to assume that it was a 4-pack and you're really shipping out a 2-pack? There might be a bullet point or a creative that is not communicating properly. So use that traffic and use the purchases, what you sold over the period of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and try to use that data coming in to further optimize your product pages. When possible, when updating these creatives to avoid ad fatigue, you can do fast creative tweaks, new headlines, updated hero images, showing different angles, small design changes like background colors or review overlays to reset fatigue. Again, customers may have seen your product or your product page or your ads previously. So just to serve them with the same exact over and over again may not be the best avenue to go. So if you could do a refresh where possible, that could help conversions moving forward. And as mentioned, rotate in fresh social, email, DTC, sponsored brands, and sponsored display creative. So repeat Black Friday, Cyber Monday visitors are not seeing the exact same ad and focus on this pre-holiday season messaging whenever possible. So let's summarize a couple of these in quick hacks. Number 1, deploy seasonal cooldown creatives. The messaging is going to shift from urgency to value and trust and benefit. This will align better with the psychology of the customers that are shopping right now. Review your top 5 ASINs or 10 for conversion drain. The traffic from Black Friday, Cyber Monday reveals which questions users ask. You can see this on the PDPs in search results. Oftentimes, your voice of the customer will often see what customers think about the product. Utilize that data and set yourself up for a successful Q1. Turn the most common friction points into revised bullets, tighter hero image. You could also do updated comparison charts that may help clear customers over any potential hurdle, as well as Q&A in the A+, which, by the way, is indexed by Google, from what I understand. So that's just an added benefit for utilizing the module in A+, the Q&A. You could actually foresee what customers will be asking, put those questions and the answers that you want in that section, and it's a great way to help customers understand the product better. These listing fixes convert immediately during the slump and will help you, again, in Q1. Again, optimize the PDPs for holiday stragglers. Add a last-minute gifting reference to bullets or images and back-end keywords. Those generic keywords in the back-end, you may want to add keywords like last-minute, gifts for, and who your audience for particular audiences for your specific product, stocking stuffer, essentials, keywords like that that you could add to the back-end will help get you indexed when those searches come in. It's very difficult to bid on those keywords because they're so competitive. But if you add them to your back end, it will carry weight in the Amazon algorithm and indexing. And hack number 15, during this time, all these things that we're pressing on doing is really to build that January momentum. Use your evergreen and New Year themes. January searches and traffics will spike. Now is the time to position yourself so you're ready for January, which leads us to our next section, which is the third pillar, review pipeline. Hopefully everybody sold a heck of a lot over Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and you're on your way to collect a whole lot of reviews. Again, use that data. Reinvest those insights into Q1 to set up A/B tests as well to take advantage of the spike of traffic that's going to be coming up. Build your January reviews pipeline. Because Black Friday, Cyber Monday buyers receive their products in early December, so you're going to want to time those requests that it makes sense. It's not too early, but hopefully you get some of that feedback before the peak holiday season. And then you can also generate UGC content and build out brand videos as well as A+ updates and really utilize it could be an unboxing you might see before the holidays, anything like that. You might want to be able to, you might use that in your social or A+ creative. And then use your most visited PDP sections to guide which new creatives or A+ to test first. Just rule of thumb, the main image is always going to be the top, the lowest hanging fruit, the strongest lead to conversion. So if that is rock solid, and from there you could do title testing as well as the other images in the stack and bullet points and A+. And then our last fourth pillar is going to be pricing. You want to protect price stability. Keeping your prices steady helps your sales stay strong as well as your sales ranking. It protects your product's value and guides shoppers without hurting future results. Do not discount aggressively after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Smart discounts and offer design. Again, stop over discounting. Black Friday and Cyber Monday is over. Brands often panic when volume drops and keep discounting like it's still Black Friday. Dial back to sustainable offers, modest cross-sell promos, accessory add-ons, or loyalty-style deals that protect margin while attracting repeat or attachment sales. Use price and promotions tactically. Use promotions like bundles, BOGO promos, buy one, get one, combined offers, smaller coupons, and subscribe and save if you have replenishables. Bundle heroes with slower movers. Use coupon badges or small coupons to keep click-through rate healthy without Black Friday, Cyber Monday level cuts. So in short, you're going to want to say, you may want to throw on a coupon for 5% or 10% like that. Those coupon badges will help the CTR, the click-through rate, as well as the conversion rate, but you're not forced to run a 15 or 20% promotion like you would need to in order to run a Prime exclusive deal or a Lightning deal or a best deal. And then my last recommendation would be to use Lightning deals to give temporary price drops and improve bestseller rank. Lightning deals, for those not familiar, are 12-hour stored promotions that can sell the product. You could designate committed units. So if you only want to sell 500 or 100 or 1,000 units or 10,000 units, whatever it is in your scenario, and it's a short period that will run and sell at that discounted price. So you're not going to run it for a week straight or 20 days straight, but a 12-hour period. This will give a boost in ranking and help your organic and overall sales. Again, virtual bundles, as well as A+ comparison charts. Those two will actually help you take your real estate and on your own product pages and make sure that competitors aren't taking your customers that you paid for those clicks, aren't taking those customers away. Okay, I have a couple more hacks that I'd like to share. Neha, how are we doing with time? Can I go for 10 minutes?
I think this is your last hack, but yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so the last hack I want to share with you today is to protect that price stability. Like I was just discussing, don't discount too aggressively. You want to use coupons lightly. Recommend again 5 to 10% max to keep conversion stable without devaluing the product, without losing too much margin. Because the volume won't necessarily be there like what was carrying us through Black Friday and Cyber Monday period. Again, use lightning deals to give temporary price drops and improve our Black Friday Cyber Monday, and improve our VSRs, our bestseller rate. Here's a quick summary of what we did, of what we discussed today. We covered ads, some tweaks, and managing our ads and our campaigns in our campaign manager, as well as some strategies and hacks. We reviewed some creative, some hopefully quick and easy fix that we could roll out for this period that could help conversion and get us ready for Q1. We also added some other points regarding reviews and pricing that will also help during this period. And from here, I'll hand it off to Neha, and I believe we're also going to do a Q&A period up at following in just a minute or two. Okay, Neha.
Thank you so much, Ari. This was super, super packed with a lot of insights. And I think I'll just, when you were talking, I was just thinking of, what are my favorite hacks that you talked about? And let me just kind of, call those out, because I've not seen a lot of places where these things are called out, right? I think my favorite one was building the review pipeline, because you mentioned that, people who bought during BFCM, they're going to be receiving their products in early December. So it's a great time to start, pushing in requests. So, you are setting up with a higher review number for January. I think this is something that, again, helps you bring that baseline shift. The second thing that I loved was changing creatives. And I think I loved how you mentioned it, right? Like you said, Black Friday is over now. Start with the holiday theme. And then, as soon as holiday theme is over, start into the New Year theme. So, just kind of these 3 action-packed months of how you can change creative so that you can, so that the products always remain and feel relevant. The third one, which is, I think we all talk about it. I think a lot of webinars that you're going to be listening to, you will hear about this, because this is the most logical advertising step to do, which is, retargeting. And I think very beautifully when you talked about sponsored ads, and then, also Amazon Marketing Cloud and DS retargeting, just to kind of ensure that anyone who's a BFCM browser can actually be retargeted, and kind of leaving out the BFCM buyers. And I think the last thing that I personally love, which is, always ensuring that you have a screenshot of, grabbing a screenshot of pre-BFCM, so that when you're done with BFCM, you're not optimizing using last 14 days of data, because you really can't, right? There was a completely different time to just kind of, do those micro changes. And then at the end of the 2-second week after BFCM, you're able to just kind of version control it, as we call it in Atom11, and basically just come back to the advertising account that you were at before BFCM. Ari, this was super, super helpful. And I'm sure everyone has their list of, favorite hacks that Ari talked about. It was like, tuck, 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 one after the other, just like action packed. So thank you. Before we start the Q&A, if there's anyone who's looking to book a demo with us at Atom11, there's a QR code. You can scan and book a link. So I'm going to just keep it there for about a minute. We're also going to be doing a very quick poll towards the end. But before that, but after that, I think we're just opening up for question and answers. So head over to the chat window on the side nav, and you'll see a chat navigation bar, and then you can click on that and ask your questions. And then, of course, I'm going to be handing it over to you, Ari, as soon as the questions come in, so that we can take it from there. We'll go to the next one. Yeah. So, Ari, I'll just keep calling out the questions to you as in they come in. But yeah, we're open for Q&A, guys. I think while, other folks, are putting their minds together to what questions to ask. Ari, I'll go first. When you are looking at baseline jumps, right? Because I think at the end of the day, that's what you want from your Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. What is a good number, right? Like, what is a good number or a goal that you keep for yourself to see how you're growing your sales after Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And what is a bad sign and a good sign in terms of metrics?
Great question, Neha. So I personally, I would like to achieve a 10%. I think that is conservative, and it has to be a major reason to see a larger jump. I don't think that would happen organically. That be a new product introduced, a new category that you're entering into, something that would increase, or a competitor, ran out of stock or lost their position, and something like that. Something major would have to happen to have something larger, a larger jump than that. But I think it's definitely attainable to have year over year, period, quarter over quarter of about 10%. Anything between 5 and 20% is, I would say, healthy. Even, listen, during, difficult time, maintaining your market share and maintaining, could not be it could be like a, 0% growth, but our margins, we did 8% better year over year. Hey, our efficiencies got better. So it could be our, total dollars that we generated were not necessarily larger, but are because of proven tactics, efficiencies, and SOPs put in place, we were able to take that same amount of traffic, same amount of sales, and create higher margins.
Fair, fair. I'm going to ask, I think the next question from Adam Waring, how do you adjust bids and budgets before, during, and after major events? Thanks, Adam.
Great question. So I don't know if it's my job to plug Atom11, but I specifically use Atom11. I'll work within Campaign Manager and bulk sheets as well as within the campaigns themselves. However, with Atom11, I think we've been using Atom11 for almost a year now. It's just very simple. We have rules built out that we could just put in all keywords in our campaign that have X number of impressions, that are bids, above this amount, below this amount, that are, broad terms, whatever metrics we want to use to isolate that change. We don't need to run any reports. We don't need to pull bulk sheets. We don't need to deal with that. We can often we can just update that rule to how we want it on demand and push that forward. That's the easiest way that I've been doing this for about 5 years, specifically on Amazon. It's the easiest way, and it's very focused. So again, if you want to focus on one agent, one campaign, or one group of campaigns, or a type of campaign, it's very simple to do in Atom11. Again, that's the pitch for Atom11. This is all doable in bulk sheets or within the campaign manager. But when it comes to efficiencies, stickler, and for sure Atom11, and I'm sure there are other tools, but Atom11 can test, makes it very, very easy to manage.
I think, thank you so much, Ari. That's very sweet of you. I think I'll just add also to that, right? Adjusting bids and budgets before, during, and after major events. Just one point there would be, I think before the event is I think what you guys also do, right? It's like more of a drastic change. During the event, it's more just like changing, on demand basis, some kind of ranks for only the important keywords. And I think after major events, one of the things that Ari covered, which was, version controlling, after about 2 weeks, and doing micro changes. Adam, I hope that, answers your question from both me and Ari.
100%. Just one more thing to add. Again, in product targeting, for example, you might have very good conversions evergreen in an evergreen situation because that competitor ASIN, let's say that you're targeting, doesn't normally promote, offer promotions, and you are better price, better value, better reviews, whatever it is. But during your Black Friday and Cyber Monday period, it could be that you're looking at reports and that ASIN did not convert. Why? Because they were running a 30%, 40% deal, whatever it was, that priced you out. Customers just weren't considering. So don't just take that info blindly and cut that ASIN from targeting, because that might be a major ASIN that does convert throughout the year. So you do have to balance both worlds and try to get data from both places.
Perfect. I'm going to get to, I hope, Adam, that answers your question. I'm going to get to the next question from Catherine. Do discount messages in creatives still matter, or should brands switch back to normal messaging? Should I read it again to you?
So it is a good question. I don't want to say, don't promote the products on sale, on sale. So it has to be a balance. Definitely you have to dial back on the, sale ends, 1 day sale, because that hype is certainly over. Customers don't want to make that immediate decision, even though in another week plus, customers are going to start feeling pressed, like they have to, 10 days or so, they're going to have to make their final purchase decisions in order to get their product by Black Friday, Cyber Monday, by the holidays. However, they're not pressured like on Cyber Monday, 3:00 in the afternoon. Oh my, this sale is going to end. I better get it now. So it's just a different messaging. So you don't want to just completely focus on the sale aspect. you do want to focus, on that lifestyle, showing the product in use where a customer can create that, can have. You want to create that emotional connection between the product and the customer, where they see, oh, that's what I want. Oh, that's what I need. Oh, that will help me. When they see that, when you're getting that message over, so it's just icing on the cake that there's a 5%, 10% coupon when they click through, and they're like, oh, and I could get, apply the 10% coupon. So you just close the deal.
Perfect. I hope, Catherine, that answers your question. Well, in the meantime, I'll go while I hear back from Catherine. I'll move on to the next question because we just have another couple of minutes, and I would love to get to the other questions too. So, how often do you change main image versus storefront images to maintain freshness and relevance in the holiday season? Is it like 2 times or 3 times, or do you have a rule of thumb?
Great question. So during the holiday period, it really depends what main image. If you're talking about DTC site, that again is, you could really manipulate and take advantage of. You could do whatever you want. On Amazon, we have rules. We need to have a white background. We have messaging in the main images. So you really can't play around too much on Amazon. However, in your A+ and secondary images, you do have an opportunity to add seasonal messaging as well as your bullet points, etc. It really depends on your resources and your bandwidth for your company. If you're a one-person shop and you're managing it all, it might be very important that you get product into FBA right now in order to sell it pre-holiday season. That's going to take a priority than sitting down for the next 2 days updating creative. So it really depends on your situation. Main images generally are, we like to always have A/B testing. Experiments is what Amazon calls them. We like to have A/B testing continuously. Once one A/B test is done, we'll try another. And the reason we're doing that is, again, 1 or 2% conversion rate may not be sound like a lot, but when you're talking about big numbers, and you could, by doing absolutely nothing, almost nothing, have 2 more percent conversions, could lead to a lot. So always be testing, and whenever possible, definitely refresh a couple times a year. I would say if you're not able to adjust for every event, for every season, that's understandable. So you do want to keep that evergreen feeling, and certainly don't put up holiday stuff, and then when people come in March or April, and and you're showing holiday messages. So that's one thing for sure to be careful.
I love the answer. I think, in this age where answers are so polarizing, Ari, where, people are like, oh, if you're not changing your creatives every third day, you are dead, right? I think this was a very practical advice of, just prioritizing the right thing depending on, the team size and, what is priority for you right now. But I think, just a rule of thumb of at least, changing it at least a couple of times a year. And if priority or if bandwidth is available, changing it at least a couple of times in this holiday season is a pretty good benchmark. There is just one last question, and I think it's probably like a straightaway answer. But and if people can stay back for a couple more minutes, I think, is there a guardrail to increasing price after BFCM? This is asked by Chetan. Yeah. So any what is the percentage that you look at, to change your pricing after BFCM?
Great question. So you do want to benchmark. You should know that number. In an evergreen scenario situation, what your product should be priced at. It's really the question is, during seasonal periods, during events, what is the bottom line that you can run your promotion at? What is the lowest you can run that in order to get your badges, get the promotional badges, so it's recognized as a great deal on Amazon. And that, I would think, is really the question. Your baseline as far as what you need to sell it out for the rest of the year, those numbers, it really depends on the product, depends on your margin, depends on your business, depends on your product, depends on your category. There's so many factors involved. So there's no easy answer to that. Now, as far as changing the price, one other thing is based on competitors. So you might say, okay, we're going into 2026. This might be a good opportunity to, reset pricing. Let's bring pricing back up and start from scratch, going into the next year, and then start, lowering prices as needed. You may price yourself totally off the radar where your competitors just take over the market. you'll lose rank, you'll lose your market share, and that's not the. I wouldn't recommend that, especially we're going into holiday, pre-holiday shopping period now, as well as hopefully this will be a springboard for Q1. So you don't want to do any major change that will hurt your ranking and lose focus. So it is a tough question because you do want the best margins as possible. But again, I wouldn't necessarily raise pricing. I would try to maintain that benchmark pricing, try to get to that point again, because many of us have created discount after discount over the past few weeks that has really, in order to even get a qualifying discount, we'd probably have to be a certain percent below the last 30 days, 90 days, all these rules with Amazon. So it's very, very difficult to run those promotions right now until some data clears up into Q1. That's why I really, would mention coupons, because that, Amazon isn't so strict. It doesn't force such big promotions in order to get that coupon badge, which helps with CTR and conversion, click-through rates and conversion.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ari. I think those are the questions that are there with us. And I think that brings us to the end of this webinar. Ari, thank you so much for bringing in such an insightful session, action-packed and very, very practical. Really, really appreciate. And thank you, everyone, for being such a wonderful audience, asking your questions and ensuring that, those are getting answered. So thank you. And we're going to be meeting you again. We're going to be doing a lot of webinars going forward. So looking forward to seeing you all again. And thank you so much again.
So much, Neha. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.